Good morning. We're going to get started. If the mayor joins us, that'd be great. Happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Happy holidays.
Approval minutes. We met on November 27th. Did everyone have a chance to review those? If so, do I have a motion for approval?
Motion for approval.
Reed, second.
Second.
Brian, second. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Before us, we have an application from MBN Properties, LLC. I have to tell you, when I moved to Fargo 30 years ago, 30 plus, I was less than a block from this place, and I thought it was the coolest building in Fargo. So, thank you, ladies. I'll let you present.
Great, thank you, Chair, and good morning. I wanted to introduce Chelsea Leverson as well. Chelsea is a new employee, and she was one of our case planners on this project. I'm filling in for Megan today, so I'll do my best. Luckily, we have the applicant himself here, Mr. Uckel. And so, yes, as you mentioned, Chair, this is kind of an exciting project as this property transitions. And as you'll see in the application, the applicant is also seeking historic tax credits and is, in my mind, we're pretty lucky that we've got a building that's maintaining historic character and its unique characteristics. Pursuant to this application, the applicant is MBN Properties, and they're applying for a commercial rehab project at 701 Main Avenue. Pursuant to the application, they plan to renovate the existing building into a more efficient office space. The applicant does not plan to make any changes to the exterior of the building, other than some of the site elements regarding the landscape and updating some of the pavers and things like that. They are not doing anything else to the exterior of the building. And that related to this application, you'll see in your packet that there is alternate to, but that is not part of your application. That's really just to show you the potential scope of the work. This historic building was built in 1898 and was previously occupied by the Fargo Parks District, and they use this commercial space for office and civic use. As we know, the Fargo Parks District relocated in 2024 to the Fargo Sports Complex, and MBN Properties plans to continue to use the commercial space for their own personal office space, and the building is on the National Register of 1975. And so the current value of the property is $954,000, and they propose to invest $69 a square foot, which would be in another $850,000 of investment, which meets that minimum threshold, surpasses the minimum threshold. And then the proposed current mill levy at using today's values would be increasing from $14,000 to $22,000. Here's some, I think we're all familiar with this location, but here's the some pictures of the site. Just in your packet are some drawings that were submitted about some interior updates. And just for reference, you have the exterior demo. They are going to update the planters and potentially remove the fountain. I think that's further, again, not part of this application, but just to give you a little bit of scope of that. Here's a picture back from when it was registered in the National Register, and which is kind of fun to see. And the applicant is present. If you have any questions for him, I have our technical planner, Chelsea, if you have any more specific questions as well.
And welcome to you, Chelsea. You'll be a nice addition to this team. Is it Anthony or Tony? Which do you go by? Do you have any comments for the group? Any further information?
Good morning, board. My name is Tony Uckel.
Tony, okay.
Anthony is what my parents called me, and they never called me it though. So yeah, no, we're very excited. Again, like I said, I'm Anthony Uckel. I'm with MBN Engineering. I'm vice president there, but then we've also got the LLC as kind of a conglomerate of our partners that are investing in this property. MBN's been downtown since 2007 when we were started. There was about 13 of us, and we've grown to about 32 employees. Fargo is our headquarters. We've branched off to Bismarck and Sioux Falls now, but we've grown out of our space where we've been at the Meadowlark since 2008. This property came up, and just with our history downtown, we wanted to stay here, and just with our client base and visibility on Main, it's just a very attractive property for us. So we see this as being a great investment for us and just a way to continue to grow in Fargo.
Okay.
You'll-
Chelsea, did you have anything further?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
Nicole covered most of it.
All right, go ahead, Nicole.
One unique aspect, again, not necessarily part of the application, but maybe Tony, if you can explain what your parking situation that you're going to lease out, if that's still the intention.
Yeah, so MBN only really needs about 40 stalls. There's ample parking on the east side. There's still that existing west parking lot with an additional 22 stalls. We do plan to lease out both sides. Nicole mentioned alternate number 2, which is to look at expanding the west parking lot and getting rid of the fountain. Really, we're looking at that just for cost implications. We don't really intend to go forward with that, but it's more just to try to figure out what the value is of that and how much it would cost for that piece of it versus trying to repair the fountain. Just talking with the park district staff and maintenance, it's repairs, pumps, the vault itself that holds the water. Basically, when they fill it up, it drains out the sides, so it's continually filling. So there's a lot of improvements that need to happen out there. We also mentioned some of the pavers that are being replaced out there. Again, they haven't been touched. They're not historic to the building, but they were installed back, I think, in 1983 with the plaza improvements that they did. The parks, if you do remember, they had an improvement project along with Main Avenue when they were reconstructing Main Avenue to update the entire plaza, which was to get rid of those pavers. But as part of that project, they were going to open it up to the public to come and take pavers. We're still working with the parks to do that same thing. They're going to give them notice. If anybody wants to come and claim their paver, they'll have an opportunity to do that. So.
Madam Chair, I have a couple questions.
Go for it.
First of all, my dad was involved in that, and they sold the pavers to raise money to pay for the building. And I don't remember what the cost was, but then you could have your name on them and or in memory of somebody, and so that was the thing. And I guess my question for Nicole is, we've talked about art a little bit, and originally there was going to be a site across the street where there was going to be art. To me, is there a possibility we could partner with them? Because I think the fountain, and I totally agree, you're evaluating, and to me, it should be updated. But for us to participate, if you did some kind of a renovation of it, I think that to me, I look at that as an asset of the downtown. It's kind of a pedestrian area, and so if that's possible, and I know it's your property now, but to me, just from our perspective of we're trying to include art at some point in some of these projects. So if that's possible, I would appreciate that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, and I think there's an opportunity where we could collaborate. I think we just kind of have to know what the intent is, how it will be used, just with pedestrian traffic coming on private property now and some of those things too. It's just, we need to kind of know what the curbs and gutters are with that.
And this is
Head
my
Commissioner.
one more, Madam Chair. The only recommendation, I would make it into a splash pad, because by far that's the most popular thing that's available. And then on top of that, you don't have to worry about it leaking all the time, because it's just. And I won't make any promises about the city staff and commissioners using the splash pad, but I would say it's a very popular thing. The one that we have in
I've
the
used
Broadway
it.
Square.
I used it. Yeah, and I can imagine with our harsh North Dakota winters, just upkeep of a fountain with that tendency of breakage and expansion. That's tough.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
wondering as to any further explanation as to why the low score area is such a category 3, 4, and 5?
Yes.
In terms of the scoring?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more about, again, kind of mushing the downtown and focus goals, which were maybe more in keeping of new construction. And I think what's absent in the downtown and focus and in the scoring today is that emphasis on preservation. And so I think when I was going to talk a little bit about that in the next item as we talk about our plan update, we can talk through revising those scores. So I would say the score here does not reflect, it reflects our current practices, but doesn't reflect what we believe is important, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It does, yeah. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that there needs to be some tweaking and.
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion, questions? If none, we have a motion before us on the screen. Is there anyone who would like to move approval or denial?
I'm happy to move for approval.
Thank you, President Bashani. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second, Prakash. Any further discussion?
Thank you.
If none, roll call, please.
Pipcorn,
Aye.
Madell,
Aye.
Matthew,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Brashani,
Aye.
Mattern.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
And thank you. We look forward to, maybe we'll get a tour when it's all done. Okay? Before we get into that, do we know who Chad Peterson's replacement will be before we go to the next item?
Yes, I believe last I talked to County Commissioner Tony Grinberg,
It is.
I think
Okay.
it's going to be him.
Okay, he was here last meeting, so I thought it might be him.
Yeah, I think he just wasn't able to attend today.
Okay. Third item, the LDC 2026 update.
Yes, I just wanted to take a minute since we have an opportunity to meet today. That last week we had the CZB, the consultants who are doing the land development code and incentive review, as a part of the implementation. The first step in implementing the recently adopted Fargo growth plan, and I just wanted to be explicitly clear that this commission is invited to participate with our Economic Development Incentive Committee as part of a focus group related to incentives. And correspondence on the project, our project manager is Kim Satrowski. So as you see correspondence coming from our office, it may come from various staff members, but just to let you know about that. Last week's meeting, which you're all invited to, but I know the kind of maybe didn't quite have it on everybody's schedules. We basically, you haven't really missed anything. We've just really introduced the time frame and the work that we're getting ready to do. So just to kind of recap it, it's in your packet as well, but right now we're kind of in a heavy analysis phase of what's working and not working, and kind of code analysis related to that, as well as small area testing. What we're talking about in small area testing, if we think about citywide, those transition edges, so as you transition or problem properties or kind of difficult to develop properties, what are those aspects that are working or not working? And so from your perspective as a Renaissance Zone Authority, if you'd like to connect with us individually or set up a meeting with me and Kim, we're glad to meet with you offline. Or if you want to just simply email us ideas. If there's parts of downtown or elements, kind of visually that you're curious about certain projects, or how did this get where, or how is that, is this, we want to see more of this or we want to see less of this. Feel free to take a snapshot with your phone and email it to us, and or just reach out personally, because as you can imagine, pretty much everything got to where it's at, and there's usually a backstory, right? There's usually a interested applicant, an applicant who had a vision or new regulations, or there's always unique aspects to those. And so we're really taking that opportunity to dig in deeper. As we go into the next phase, we'll be working on code drafting and developing what those future codes look like. So in the Renaissance Zone, for instance, downtown mixed use is the prevalent zoning district, but on those edges, you have some limited industrial, you have some general industrial, you have some residential. The Downtown in Focus makes recommendations on what those future uses should be. And now we're starting to figure out what those zoning codes look like as part of that. And there's some aspects, while downtown mixed use is a good zoning district, if you recall from the Downtown in Focus recommendations, it's maybe a little too lenient. For instance, I wouldn't want to advertise this, but someone could absorb a block and put a Walmart there? And is that really, is that really what we want to make sure we close that window on? And so it's really talking about how to get a little bit more specific in the regulations and goals. And then more importantly is you'll see recommendations in the growth plan that we've talked about is the discussion of incentives, how they're used to help promote the incentive or the optimal development that we want. And so we're really looking forward to working with you more closely as it relates to the Renaissance Zone and maybe other aspects. And so we really look forward to an opportunity to have your knowledge, expertise, along with our Economic Development Incentive Committee's expertise, and really talk holistically with the staff who support those commissions and boards, how to make this a little bit more streamlined if that's possible. So more to come, and really the next steps include right now, staff and the consultants are doing some heavy analysis, and so we're just asking you at this point in time to think about what's working and what's not working, and feel free to reach out to me or Kim or Megan specifically, and we can set up some time to meet, or we can even gather as a small group between now and February if that's your desire as well. And the consultants will be back the week of February 24th. And so if you could put a soft hold on that, we'll probably have a meeting with you on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of that week, probably a Tuesday or Wednesday of that week. And that would include some other staff members as well as other volunteers who are working on this. Here to answer any questions. It's a big undertaking. It's a good 16-month process, and we're just kicking off.
Okay, got it. So noted. Any other comments or information on that?
Also, as if anybody from the public's watching, and kind of our more direct public launch will be in February. So these meetings that we had last week were really informal in nature and just trying to meet the staff that relates to this work. And we are working cross-departmentally with engineering, inspections, administration, you name it. Each of the city departments kind of touch our land development code. And there will be a lot of public outreach, probably a public workshop or open house in February as well.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is our Renaissance Zone Development Plan update.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we successfully made it through all the approval steps, and we're just waiting on the last transactional correspondence between the state and the city. So thank you so much for your support through that process. I know it was a quick 6 months, and we look forward to the next few months as we go through this work with the Land Development Code. The idea is that we'll have some specific recommendations on what we might need to amend or update as part of that Renaissance Zone Development Plan. So thanks for your patience on that, and things like the 8-year investment aspect that we had legislatively recently approved, the scoring, the kind of getting in a little bit deeper on the goals. We'll have opportunity for all of that to iron out. So
Okay, good. It's good. We'll take our time, do it right.
yeah. So
All right.
but yeah, we're excited that we're through the basic update.
Okay. Next meeting, January 22nd. Do we know if we have any projects?
We do not at this time.
Okay.
Madam Chair, one thing. So Nicole, could you, obviously with the upcoming legislative session, could you maybe put this on our agenda? Just, I'm guessing there's some things that the legislature is considering changes on the Renaissance Zone. So once, if you don't mind, just kind of an update as to what's going on and how that would impact. And I don't know, I don't even know if there's anything on there, but I assume there will be. But if you wouldn't mind kind of keeping us up to date on that, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does the state keep you updated if there is any pending?
Yeah, we
bills
have
or
a pretty good
legislation?
relationship with the state staff members. And so yeah, as of yet, I haven't heard anything real specific, but it's always good to be proactive and check in. So, so we'll do that.
Good thought.
Yeah, but and absolutely through the process, we heard there's a record number of filings already. So,
Here we go. All right. Anything further to come before Renaissance Zone Authority? If nothing, meeting adjourned, and have a wonderful holiday season, everyone. Safe travels, and please be well.
You too.